most they could do is give him 1 year on each count in the county jail. And on a first-time offense, it would be extremely unusual. But this is an unusual case, and Melville's a hanging judge. So you could see Melville sentence Michael to the maximum misdemeanor offense of 1 year in the county jail. And in my opinion, if he does any time, he will lose the kids. If he does 5 days in jail, in that custody court going on in Los Angeles right now as we speak, that judge, whether it's Judge Marjorie Steinberg or whoever the judge ends up with that case, will say, Michael is got real issues, and we're not trusting the kids. We're taking Paris and Prince and Blanket away. That's likely to be the downside of this case, and Michael will walk out of here unconvicted.
What do you know about Sneddon?
Yeah, what's going to happen?
Well, I asked the question.
What's going to happen
to the justice system. If you go to the justice system, I gave it. I don't know if they're going to put it on the air. I want Sneddon to come on my television show, On Second Thought, here in Santa Maria, and answer the question: has he been having a sexual illicit affair with a woman named Roth, who also works for the county? I want him to answer that question on my show. I want to see him say yes or no. Because if he says no, fine. I'll go look for the evidence. If he says yes, he's admitted while he's on his second marriage having a sexual affair with somebody else. Now that isn't pedophilia, and it isn't KKK membership. But my real gripe against Tom Sneddon, is right up there on the second floor of this courthouse. The district attorney, Charles Bealey, was downloading internet pornography on his work computer.
Hello.
And you can go over to the library and look up the microfilm fish. March 1st, 2002. It's reported, page 1, lower right. I'm on the top of the page of being falsely arrested while I was running for supervisor. But if you look down in the lower right of that page, you see a story on Charles Bealey hidden in the lower right corner, and then it goes to an inside page. Charles Bealey was sorry he brought disgrace on the district attorney's office. Here's my dilemma. Tom Sneddon took an oath, and I've got a copy of his oath of office. He took an oath to uphold the state and federal constitution. The state laws of California say you must prosecute anyone using government property for a personal pleasure. When Charles Bealey downloaded that pornography on the work computer in the district attorney's office on the taxpayers' time, Sneddon had a duty to indict him and prosecute him for misuse, and he didn't do it. He just let him skate. If you walk right over there across Cook Street, you'll see Charles Bealey's name up on the wall of the mall. He's a practicing private attorney. He has not been prosecuted. He has not been put in jail, and I don't think he ever will. I think the statute of limitation on him has run. Why didn't Sneddon, if he wanted to get somebody for pornography, and he made a big issue about pornography, oh, Michael's got barely legal. Well, I'm shocked. He's got Hustler. And I am shocked.
I got Hustler.
I don't, and I'm shocked to see that Michael, who loves kids, reads Hustler. Playboy is so blah. You know, it's more like a beauty pageant magazine. I know pastors in this town, and Catholic priests, that have Playboy. I'm not so shocked, but Hustler, I am shocked. Why are we arresting Charles Bealey and putting him in jail for internet pornography, which is a violation of state law? If Sneddon wants to enforce the laws, you ought to enforce them evenly. The law should enforce equally to everybody. That's not happening here. Then I have a problem with Sneddon because he had Ernie Armento locked up, put in jail for 5 months without a trial for a crime that never happened, that nobody did. And the crime was discharge of a firearm in the parking lot over here in the City Hall parking lot. Only nobody discharged the firearm. It was a car backfiring, and Ernie Armento wasn't anywhere near. But he spent 5 months in jail when he was running for office. How do you think that affected his run for office? Then they took Dr. Sundaram, who ran a dental clinic for the poor, right over a year. They arrested him in his office, held him prisoner in his office, called him racial slurs. He sued in federal court and beat Tom Sneddon. And he beat the city cops. He beat the good old boys here that had Dr. Sundaram arrested. He beat him in federal court. He was only asking for $1 in damages and attorney's fees. And the federal jury gave him $20,000 plus attorney's fees amounting to, I believe, over $250,000.
Okay.
Okay, so Sneddon's been beat. Why doesn't ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, why don't they put that out there and show what Tom Sneddon, I do on my show called On Second Thought. And we're going to put a couple of my shows are going to be on the internet. for free. So anybody in the world can go watch this show and see the truth about Tom Sneddon.
What's your website?
Give us your website. They want to know your website.
OnSecondThought.tv.
And you have
Do you think Michael's received a fair trial? You know, Michael's received as fair a trial as you can get if you stack the jury with 6 people who have close affiliation or friendship with people in the Great Aryan Alliance. Okay, that's about as fair a trial as he can get. But these people aren't necessarily KKK members. There's no black peoples on the jury. But I think this jury is more offended by Janet Ovizio, the proven perjurer, welfare cheater. Because this jury is made up of people who work hard for their money. You know that song, She Worked Hard for Her Money? And Janet Ovizio never worked hard for her money more than 3 days in her life.
Spend her life suing people.
She never worked hard for her money.
Good for them, yeah.
And what also has been proven is the accuser of Michael, Gavin, the real accuser they have to find, he's telling the truth, also accused his mother of abusing him. And then withdrew the charge. But the paperwork is still on the social worker's record in Los Angeles. This kid has been trained by his mother and father to accuse everybody. That way you get control. And I think already Janet Ovizio, I don't know if it's true, went on, had Tommy from the Laugh Factory go on CBS and said they forgive Michael.
Oh,
I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, if that's true, if the Ovizios are quote-unquote forgiving, wouldn't that be convenient? Because she's like saying to the judge, don't put him in jail, I want him out working to pay for my civil lawsuit.
Thank you.
That's what she's saying.
That's right.
That's what she's saying.
That's right. Now she just realized.
A fair trial. How can you get a fair trial? You got the hanging judge.
Oh, shoot. Darn, I can't get money later.
You got Judge Rodney S. Melville. Sometimes I slip and I call him Smellville. You got Judge Melville. I studied this judge for 12 years. This judge hates fathers to have custody of their children.
Oh my God.
If there's any kind, I watched a U.S. Marine who was third guy at Malta come in here. He came back to Lompoc to bring his kids back to visit his grandparents. And this Marine stood ramrod erect. And the evidence was the mother was a bimbo, the mother was a British subject, she had run off with some other gigolo and spent years with his gigolo. She said, send me the kids. He sent her the kids. And after 2 days, she was supposed to have them for 2 weeks, she sent him back to this U.S. Marine who was the third ranking man at Malta in our embassy. He's back here in Judge Melville's court, not that courtroom, his regular courtroom. And he gave perfect testimony. He got the kids in writing lessons, he got them in activities, he hired nannies. This Marine did everything right. I'm not going to give you his name because his parents still live out in Lompoc, but Judge Melville looked at this woman and all she did is hang her head like this through the whole hearing. She never looked up because she was guilty. She was guilty of hanging out with the gigolo, chasing sex, not caring about her kids, loving the fast life. Then when the Marine got ready to get out of the military, get his 20-year pension, and he came back to see the grandparents as he did every year. She shows up, now she wants the kids, and she wants half his pension. And she'd only been married to him, I think, 10, 12 years. Now she wants the kids, because then comes child support, then you get half the pension. But she didn't care about the kids for 4 or 5 years before this. And the kids came right out in this parking lot, and Melville orders, I ordered those kids to go with the mom. And the Marine came out here, and this guy's about 6'4", 6'5", and he said to his son, who's a teenage daughter, says, the judge says you got to go with your mother. And the kid said, we ain't going with her. We are not going with her. You promised us pizza after today, and we want to go out for our pizza. And I watched Judge Melville's bailiff come out here and watch the scene, and it went on for like an hour. And the little woman who was representing the mom was a little attorney. She comes up to this Marine, she looks up and says, you make those kids get in her car. And he says, ma'am, I'm trying. Son, you need to go with your mom. And the daughter started to cry and weep. The son got in the dad's vehicle and said, I'm not getting out. And there was the Marine trying to pull his son out of his car, breaking his heart. Melville didn't give a crap. He wanted his orders enforced. And this went on until finally it was so embarrassing. And I stood there and watched it just so I could report on it someday. This was before I did my show. This was more than 5 years ago. And finally, the bailiff went in and said, look, Your Honor, you've been overruled. The kids refused to obey your order. And the kids left that day with the dad, but I guess they made arrangements. They visited the mother the next day. That's how much Melville hates fathers to have custody. This man did nothing wrong. The mom did everything wrong. And Melville has allowed as much ugly crap in this record so that Michael can lose his kids. And I'm almost sure.
She said they came back. They came back one time.
What's that?
She said there was children. They came back one time. They testified against the father and then wasn't really guilty.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the three stepdads who were convicted of one of them in Melville's court, convicted of molesting their stepdaughters. When the daughters were like 15, 16, they wanted to date some druggy kid, some kid man, druggy, some guy. Yeah, somebody would have got this girl in trouble. So anyway, they were convicted because the girls lied to get rid of the stepfathers. They went to prison. I think one spent 6 or 7, 8 years in prison. One spent 8 or 9, 10. And one spent a collective of 25 years in state prison. Then the girls grew up. Well, the stepdads were in jail, and Melville helped make this happen. And Tom Sneddon was the prosecutor in at least one of those cases. They came back and said, look, we found Jesus. We can't get to heaven unless we undo the wrong and confess up. So we have to tell you the truth. Our stepdad never did anything wrong to us at all. That's the truth.